it seems, as you mentioned, some of these people dechurched in the late 90s, other people about 10 years ago. Is what role has technology played in dechurching, or can that even be identified?
It can definitely be identified in terms of pinning the tail on the donkey. It gets a little hairier than, just kind of saying, oh, it's this. Um, the role of the internet, and particularly the growth of high speed internet in people's homes, it certainly has proliferated the rate at which people are interacting with different ideas. Okay. I think about, just consider, for example, on say social media. In a given week, I would guess that, decades, if not hundreds of years of conversations in church history, when you compare the volume of communication, in just online versus, several hundred years of church history, you have probably similar amounts of, just how much communication is actually transacted over, per unit of time. That's why, it took us, 300 years to get to the Council of Nicaea, and, over 400 to the Council of Orange. And so, you're, when it takes, so long to have those kinds of conversations, when the velocity of conversation speeds up, that definitely has an impact to how quickly different trends pick up. And so I think we live in an attention economy. There's more content and media that can be consumed than what people have time to do. Consider going back to the moon landing in 1969. I believe over 3/4 of Americans either listened or watched that live. There hasn't been a single event since that's crossed that threshold. And why is that? Well, it's because there's more media now than what people can consume. And so people's media diets are far more niche down, and they are more individualized and atomized. And so there's just a lot of complexities that come with that. I can find several people who, I listen to some fairly obscure music, but I can find 6 other clergy members in my own city, who listen to like the same kind of music, and I can find those people in, like, say, 3 minutes, because of the way that social media can allow us to sort ourselves into these increasingly smaller niches. Well, on the one hand, that's kind of cool, but on the other hand, it's kind of scary, because you can now create the illusion that everyone in your world is just kind of just like you. And so I think that this creates a lot of asymmetric challenges for institutions in general, because the idea of an institution is you get people together who have maybe there's some commonality that's there, but you're gonna be drawing from a diversity of different pools. But the internet cuts against that, and I think people don't have the ability to handle as much dissonance in their life and difference of thoughts or opinion. And certainly that's the case online. Oh, I don't like this, I'm going to mute that, or I'm going to unfollow this, or these different kinds of things. And I think that's beginning to spill over in people's, the way that people treat their in real life interactions and the institutions that they choose to connect themselves to. Some of that's good in terms of providing accountability where accountability needs to be brought to bear, but a lot of that, I think, cuts against things that are good and healthy, namely that emotional, relational, and spiritual maturity is bound up in our ability to handle dissonance and to be able to hold different things in tension.